We're at the TWRD meeting. This place is worse than the TAD on corruption, mismanagement of funds. We got everybody right here. What's up, Toe? This is the Tarrant Regional Water District on Northside Drive in Fort Worth, Texas. This is their meeting, the board meeting.
Put reserved seats for only staff can sit. Pretty soon after I'm done speaking, I was hoping I get to go to Commissioner's Court tonight, but I can't.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Becky?
Howdy, howdy.
Yeah, it's the water district. Tarrant Regional Water District. Yeah, we're in the Tarrant Regional Water District in Fort Worth, Texas. It's 800 Northside Drive in Fort Worth, Texas. I think it's 76104 or 106, something like that.
Jim, did you lose your cat's hat? Oh, I didn't see that one. You're right. Oh, I didn't see you wear that one. Can you hear us, Jim?
There goes that girl. James Hill, Mary Leonard, Leslie King, Jeff something. I don't know if y'all can see that name right there. It's probably too far. Let me get the rest of them.
Morning, we're going to call the meeting to order. It is 9 a.m. on 19th of July, 2022. All right. Ms. Garcia, have we met the requirements for the open meetings? Would you please call the roll?
Leah King,
Present.
James Hill,
Present.
Jim Lane, who is here virtually, he may be muted if he is here. Marty Leonard,
Here.
Mary Kelleher,
All right. All that are able, please stand for the pledge. I just pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. First item on the agenda is public comment. Citizens may present public comment at this time, limited to a total time of 3 minutes per speaker unless the speaker addresses the board through a translator, in which case the limit is a total time of 6 minutes. If citizens wish to address the board in person, each proposed speaker must have completed and submitted a speaker card prior to the commencement of the meeting, identifying any agenda item number and topic the speaker wishes to address to the board. If citizens wish to address the board virtually, each proposed speaker must have contacted Mr. Chad Rance of TRWD by telephone at 817-720-4367 or by email at chad.rance@trwd.com by no later than 3 p.m. on Monday, July 18, 2022, identifying any agenda item numbers or topics the speaker wishes to address with the board. In such event, the speaker will be provided with the dial-in number to address the board. By law, the board may not deliberate, debate, or take any action on public comment, but may place the item on a future agenda. First speaker is Lon Burnham.
Good
Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry if I caused any confusion about whether or not I'd be able to be here today, but I did test negative last night, so I'm feeling a little more optimistic about the month. I want to share a couple of thoughts with you this morning. First of all, I want to congratulate you on the forward report article this morning, talking about basically staff making recommendations where you can cut on the budget, make a little bit of savings. Everything that was listed in the article were things that I thought we shouldn't have been doing in the first place, so I'm glad that staff has made this recommendation to move in that direction. I will note, however, I am concerned about agenda item number 4 on the bond issue. The reason I'm concerned is there are so many blank underlined scores in this proposal that I don't understand how you can understand what you're being asked to approve. Maybe you understand all the blanks. I would be a little concerned about voting for this bond issue the way it's presented to you today. As for other budget items, I have visited with Linda Christie. She's tried to explain to me that even though there is a reduction in your proposed budget for water conservation issues, she assures me that that's not really indicative of any concern. Now, my concern is it probably should be double what it is. I understand everybody's having staffing problems and getting people in place, but we really should be doing more, and I think this number is a really good indication. And I'll point out to you, I think one of the deficiencies is almost all of it is oriented towards people that can afford to put sprinkler systems in their yards in the first place. Most of the people I know don't have sprinkler systems. In fact, most of the people in Fort Worth don't have sprinkler systems. Now, if you really want to get people's attention, you might advertise save water, shower with a friend. But you guys are not really as aggressively pursuing water conservation as I think you should. And lastly, in whatever seconds I have left, I want to point out to you that you've got a real problem with your law enforcement department. For one, I've sent a number of you an email. I'm wondering, I haven't asked an open records request whether or not there's a file on me. I've been coming out here to these board meetings for a year now, and I'm a little concerned about a line I saw on your website about surveillance of private citizens. And I have heard a lot, and not witnessed, about some of the problems with your police department being abusive of basic citizen rights. And I think it's emblematic of the sign that you have out there today saying, well, you can't come in here until 8:30 because we're going to close our public building to the public. Finally, let me just say, I know there's been progress. There's been a lot of progress. We need to do so much more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Torlopassi.
President King, board members, taxpayers, and public servants who work for us. I came here a year ago in July, and the doors were locked. That was my first point I made, and that turned into World War III. Today, when the meeting's over, the doors will be locked. I want to compliment Stephen Tatum and the hiring of Stephen Tatum because the number of legal issues that you guys generate on a monthly basis are a handful, and we were spending lots of money on outside counsel, but you can't help yourselves. The thing that I appreciate most about Stephen so far is that he is timely and prompt and responsive when I try to make open public record requests. The problem, though, is that there shouldn't be special handling. And right on the front door it says that every member of the public doing an open record request is supposed to be treated equally and cordially. That is the law. So let's go to the minutes that you either already approved or about to. If you look on the minutes, it says clearly that last meeting I spoke on the topic of, actually says I indicated that I would speak on indicating indicators. No one here last month heard me speak on indicating indicators. Here's the point. The staff constantly documents things and gives you paper trails, and you have no idea whether what they're giving you is accurate. But in no other areas is it more important than in the minutes of the meeting, which you vote for 100% to approve at your time. The fact that the secretary doesn't record what's actually uttered in the meeting is troublesome. I learned a few months back that it is in fact the staff passes the minute rough draft around and everybody contributes to what the minutes ought to say instead of what was actually said in the meetings. Let's talk for a moment about rules, policies, laws, and rights. You have rules of decorum, violating free speech, but you don't follow them yourselves. You have policies that are new, that appear to be transparency and accountability, but that's about all you have is the appearance of accountability and transparency. There are state laws. You choose to follow some of the state laws and not other ones. For example, 552.007, on the advice of outside counsel, she selected which parts to pay attention to. Similarly, with the Attorney General's opinion, 300, she suggested that you listen to or follow the first half of the Attorney General's opinion and never mention the second half. It goes to rights. You already have a dormant lawsuit against you for civil rights, you know that. It can be reactivated any time. The incident that happened last month at the TRWD meeting, Mr. Motto over there has a clear-cut civil rights lawsuit as a member of the media and the press, but it was the Fort Worth police officer, Sergeant Molina, who's going to be rewarded, and a few of the other Fort Worth officers are going to be penalized when he said, "We know it's your First Amendment right to be here. We're going to leave you alone. Come on, officers, let's leave."
Thank you. Next up, Levon Cockrell.
Thank you for this time. I appreciate your time. My name is Levon Cockrell, and I live at 1616 South Adams Street. I've lived in Fort Worth for 69 years, and I want to share two items with you today. First, I want to thank Mary Kelleher because she sent to me Woody Broussard and Daryl Andrews to look at the water issues under my home and the 10-year-old or less concrete street in front of my home that is cracking. That's called alligatoring, which means there's soil erosion underneath of some sort, or there's heaving of water. Purchased my home 4 years ago in this neighborhood, and it sunk in the back when the rains did come, if we ever had rains, and I couldn't get out of any of my doors. That's when I recognized that Jamie Ice with 6th Street, 6th Avenue Homes didn't tell me that under my house, when it rains, there's this much water. So that began a big 100,000 plus restoration of cracked this and cracked that in 3 different foundation companies. And I started coming to these boards and realized you aren't going to dig some wells, and maybe you need to dig one in my backyard because I may have a lot of water there. So when he came out, it might be a perched aquifer, it might just be runoff water, but he has helped advance this cause. So I do appreciate that. It was just a quick conversation with Mary, and then this hour-long while Daryl Andrews and Woody thought about this and have commented about it. My second comment is looking at the budget. I'm a retired teacher. To save over $100,000 in 31 years as a teacher takes an enormous amount of good management. And to put 2 kids through college and then pay for weddings takes a lot of management. And it was gone just like that with this house. I love this house, I'm gonna leave this house, but water is a real problem. So I look at how I can manage my budget, and looking at your budget, I would like to propose that you try and find a 5% reduction so that the city can be charged 5% less so that they can pass that on to me in my home. I don't water my house, my yard. I'm old. And if you're old, young people, you're going to find out you don't bathe every day because you're not going off someplace too much. So it's just me and 5 cats, and I'm going to leave in a minute because one of those cats came home with a missing paw, a missing toe, and that's why I was so late. But anyway, I appreciate your time and like that consideration.
Thank you. Next up, Daniel J. Bennett.
Daniel Bennett, I live in White Sullivan, I'm not in the district. I'm gonna read this record because it's from the Fort Worth Weekly. Based on our extensive and ongoing investigations, local officials are openly defrauding taxpayers, falsifying government documents, working under false titles, lying, cheating, and stealing as means of doing favors for friends and clinging to power. It defies belief that the FBI or another law enforcement agency hasn't raided Tarrant County Administrative Building for original copies of documents that we've already published week after week. Countywide government malfeasance has reached levels that require an expansive examination of the Commissioners Court, high-ranking county elected official groups like Tarrant Regional Water District, TAG, and all levels of law enforcement, from the Fort Worth Police Department to the Sheriff's Department and District Attorney. I remember this is in an article called City in Crisis. And I know that some people don't think much about the Fort Worth Weekly, which is fine. It's a magazine, it's not a paper. Beginning next week, this is what it continues. Beginning next week, we are launching a new series, City in Crisis, in which we will compile recent and new reporting as part of the countywide examination of local government. We are going to name names and connect the dots between public officials and public resources and issues. What's missing from that activism is a comprehensive examination of those government groups that explains who is ripping off taxpayers and why. That's pretty strong language. I should certainly hope they can muster and meet the road, will the tire meets the road. For an indefinite future, excuse me, and until every lead is exhaustively investigated, this magazine will be exposing corrupt and self-serving government employees. Up first in the series will be Sheriff Whiteborn, Tarrant County's family courts, and District Attorney's Office. This is from the Fort Worth report. The district hired Lehman Associates in February to conduct a national search in 2021 for a replacement Oliver, and you guys chose Dan. Well, you spent $81,000 to hire this company. 3 months later, it was like Roseanne Dan on Saturday Night Live, never mind. So $81,000 was shipped out, and you had the person you wanted in your midst all. To me, that just shows bad money management, and now you're going to do a budget. How many $81,000 are in that budget? That's my question. If you can carelessly throw away $81,000 to a firm to do a search, and the right person sits at your table or sits in the audience, how many $81,000 are in this budget? Thank you.
Thank you. Doreen Geiger.
Thank you to all of the staff in the board who have worked hard to reduce the operating revenues and the operating expenses for your recreation budget for 23. I'm very impressed that your operating expenditures are projected and budgeted to go down by 32.5%. Your operating revenues will go down 37.74%. I know that legally, you as a water district have the authority and the right to provide recreation. And I understand that many of the things that you do relate directly to people recreating on or in the water. I'm all for the fly fishing. If people want to enjoy the river canoeing or paddle boating or tubing in the river. But a lot of the things that this district has done are really marketing things that have nothing to do with the river. They're to market the economic development of Panther Island, such as the Panther Island ice rink, concerts, the Oktoberfest, the Worst Fest, and some of these have already been deleted or reduced. I encourage you to find an outside organization in the community that will take over the Panther Island ice rink as their project. We'll let them put it on, as well as any of the other items that really don't have to do with people recreating in the water. When I look at your list of activities, every single one of these shows that you will lose money. The only one that shows that it will make money is Panther Island Ice Rink. So I encourage you to keep up the good work that you're doing in reducing the cost of these Panther Island recreation events, and congratulations. As a taxpayer, I'm very impressed with what you all are doing.
Thank you. Next up is agenda item 3, consider approval of the minutes from the meeting held on June 21st, 2022.
Can we make changes to the minutes at this point?
Do you have any questions?
I wouldn't like it to accurately reflect. I don't have my notes from last month's meeting, but I take notes when all speakers are speaking, and I don't recall Thomas saying that. I would just appreciate it if we could be a little more thorough in representing what people in the public is saying. So I don't know what changed, because I don't have my notes with.
All right, would you like to table the approval of these minutes until our next meeting? Is that sure?
Can we do that? Yes.
Correct. So Ellie, would you take a look at the video and make any clarifications, send those out in this board packet?
And I just clarify, staff's practice to this point has been to write what they indicated on the speaker form that they would speak about, as opposed to trying to summarize it or take dictation or anything like that. And frankly, we just don't want to misrepresent anything by trying to summarize it, nor do we want to go word for word what they've said. So we've just tried to say, this is what they requested to speak about, and so we put that in the minutes as their request. That's been our practice.
All right. Item number 3 is tabled. Next item, number 4, consider approval of resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of the Tarrant Regional Water District, the Water Control and Improvement District, the Water Control ECP Series A refunding bonds, pledging revenues for the payment of the bonds, approving an official statement, and authorizing a
Here, not what happened.
All right, this is where it's at. See, so it's all happening there, and I have to go. We have to leave, so that'll be the end. But we got the most important part.
Somewhere
So,
along the way, Eddie Brown.
so see, so y'all need to look into Fort Worth Weekly, man, because they're the ones that are helping expose all this shit to begin with. So.
Yeah, hey, you're the only reporter here today.
Yeah, and I'm the only the news person here, so y'all got to see it live on my channel. Shout out. Appreciate everybody for being here.